Well, a win is a win is a win. It was Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1 in FA Cup third round weekend. But Pandora's fixture box may just have been opened up. Will it turn out to be a good thing or a bad thing in the long run? Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Before I start worrying about fixture pile-up, Dave, and get accused of being negative, are we good at the FA Cup now?
How can I put this right? Improving, I'd say, Ben, improving.
You're still thinking about Maidstone, aren't you?
I'm still thinking about McCarthy era. I'm still thinking about every era prior to the last few years, to be fair. So I'd say it's improving. We had a good run a couple of years ago? When we beat Burnley, was that third or fourth round? Must have been third, was it?
No, we lost to Burnley, didn't we? I think when we were in League One, they beat us in the replay. They were top of the Championship, we were top of League One, and then they beat us in the replay.
Okay, yeah, just passed me by. So we're getting better anyway.
Joe, I couldn't help. Welcome back, by the way. It couldn't help, kind of pricked my notice that the other 5 members of the Championship top 6 all got knocked out yesterday. So I am going to keep running this debate, especially, can you remember when we got promoted and Coventry went I'm not saying we're going to go all the way to the Cup semi-final, extra time, VAR, dodgy goal, but that really can. I know we've got the squad as well, but are you in any way concerned now about a fixture pile up with the Pompey fixture and whatever happens with the Cup fourth round?
Yeah, it's not ideal because normally there's a natural time where going out of the Cup's probably not a bad thing. And normally it's the fourth round because there's normally a blank weekend for the third round. Well, there's always a blank weekend for the third round. And there's normally a blank weekend for the fourth round. I think last year there might have even been a blank weekend for the fifth round as well when we're in the Premier League. So you sort of want to go far enough that you're not having to rearrange games. And unfortunately, winning yesterday, obviously good. We want to win. We want to progress. The Hull game on February the 15th, is it? Or around that time, 14th, needs to be rearranged. And that's a Saturday game, which means we're now going to have 4 league away games in a row. So because Portsmouth's gone in, I think we've got Portsmouth, Derby, Watford, Wrexham on the bounce away from home, which is really, really difficult to do. Sort of like, we had that tough spell over Christmas where we had 3 away games, one of which was cancelled in 10 days. And now we've got 4 away games on the bounce.
We had it before, Joe, didn't we? In the end of November, did we have Oxford? No, we had Hull, Oxford, Blackburn all in about maybe 8 days or something, didn't we, as well? So
yeah, and so you've got that. And then if we sort of going ahead now, if we get a draw in the fourth round that we win, the Leicester game is the game on FA Cup fifth round weekend. So it's another home Saturday game that will be rearranged from there. So yeah, the fixture list hasn't fallen very kindly for us at times.
No, and that Pompey postponement might be a pain. Congratulations to Pompey, who got their televised home game against Arsenal on successfully today. So we're really pleased for Pompey about that one. David, I did post this on Twitter, and all the comments I got, Dave, to be positive now, were if anyone in the top 6 can cope with a cup run and 4 away games in a row and 3-game week, 3-game week, 3-game week, it's Ipswich Town with their lovely squad and the beautiful year 1 parachute payment and money for Amari Hutchinson, who missed a penalty at
he did.
We'll get on to later. And Liam Delap. But that's true, isn't it, Dave?
Very much true. As we said last week, this is, this time of the season is when this much fabled squad of ours, it's there, isn't it? Should really come to the fore. With it also, as we understand, there should be, we're hoping for 2 or 3 new additions. All right, they might well be cup side, not an issue. But so
probably
yeah,
this thing, Dave, isn't it?
No, absolutely right. So look, we should really come into our own now. Touch wood. Injuries or suspensions are fairly light on the ground at the moment. Big touch wood on that. So this is where the squad, as you said, should really start to bear fruit.
But Dave, you've still got to, even for a cup game, you've still got to put that into the diary. That takes Professor McKenna's attention. That's a day. I don't know if you get an away draw. It's kind of a 3-day block that you use. It's all well and good having the squad, but just the energy that takes. Look, if we win the FA Cup, I don't care, but that's
okay. Yeah,
that's less than likely. But that's still, Dave, even with a big squad.
No, it's still an impact.
It's not like you're leaving all the good players and the manager at home, is it?
No, it's still an impact. And I mean, look at the team we put out. I think we sat here this time last week thinking, what sort of team we're going to put out. I don't think anyone would think we'd have gone as strong as perhaps we did yesterday. But there again, that shows the strength of the squad again.
It really does, doesn't it? Right, welcome to Blue Monday and Ipswich Town podcast. We are reacting to Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1, and thereafter pouring through our diaries to try and think if there's going to be any 3 midweeks between now and the start of May. Get involved in the comments if you're here live. We're getting your coverage, just putting your comments up on the screen. Loads of good stuff coming in, and you can put your questions to David and Joe after we do the kind of roundup section, and we'll get them to answer those. If you are here, please do hit the thumbs up button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button also. Joe, here is, by the way, I don't know if Rich can get it from the pre-match. Did anyone get this right? I'm sure someone in the Telegram had it, didn't they? So, no one's going to get it because Matasiwa got selected, isn't it? But so Palmer in goal, Young, Kipre, and it's kind of funny with Kipre that you now go, oh, that's one of the nailed-on starters that got selected. How that's moved quickly. Kipre and Greaves, Johnson, the return, Taylor, and perhaps the biggest surprise, Matasiwa, which was explained away by Kieran McKenna, Burns, and do you remember the live show when I said about Philogene or Clark, and the whole audience kind of went, they're playing at the same time. Here they are. Clark in the 10, Philogene down the left wing, Chuba Akpom back-to-back starts in the 9. Joe, pick the phones out of that. You're probably going to have a lot to say on that one.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting Matasiwa in there. I don't think anyone was. I thought he'd be getting a nice long break. And the players who totally missed out were Darragh O'Shea, Darnell Furlong, Jens Kuyas. They're the ones who weren't even on the bench, those three there. So they were seen as
good gig.
The need to be fully rested. Even Leif Davis was on the bench after.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not sometimes is one that gets the whole day off. But yeah, no, it's a pretty strong team. Is it in reality? You got two good quality centre backs, full backs, Young and Johnson, decent enough. Then the midfield is sort of almost what you'd expect to see in a lot of league games, and then it's just around that 10 position really that we're weaker than you'd expect it to do. So yeah, no, It's one of those ones where I almost didn't even bother picking a expected team for this one because you had really no idea where he was going to go with regards to strength, and because we'd obviously had the Portsmouth game pulled off the other side.
Matasiwa quote though, Joe, as in that position he doesn't particularly run around as much, which is basically what McKenna said afterwards. But moreover, that he was in a really good flow with his play, and it would have been too long a gap. Well, I've not heard McKenna say that before. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
Yeah, no. If you think, I guess 16 days between games, it would be had no one played in this one. That's quite a long break to have mid-season. So you want someone like Matthew. If I guess everyone's different, aren't they? If a game's good for him, then it's good to have it. Where someone like Furlong, actually, you've come into it and you need to break from it. Must still be managing his knee issue a bit. But yeah, but it was a really difficult team to predict. Like I said, I don't think anyone came particularly close to it, let alone. I don't reckon anyone got more than about 7 or 8.
So, Dave, I guess Akpom's been given back-to-back games to try and get some goals out of him and get him moving. And Clark, is that almost McKenna saying to the fans, right, this is why I don't do this, but I'm going to show you anyway?
Well, I don't know, possibly, but I thought he did okay yesterday.
I guess who else can play there, really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. On the bench then, Smodix. More from him later, and I'm sure he'll come up in the questions. Azon, McAteer, Eggerly, Baggett, Button, Davis, Barbrook, and Nunes, if you want someone else to play the 10. Right, there'll be some familiar names here in this Blackpool team. I love these League One teams. You kind of think, oh, I remember that guy, and here he is at Blackpool in League One, Dave. Bailey, Peacock, Farrell to start you off.
Is that his first return to Portman Road since he got Macaulay Bond?
Yeah.
Oh, was it actually? Oh, it's a great shout, Joe. Hamilton, Ashworth, Casey, Lyons, Imre, Honeyman has been good in the Championship actually before. Evans, Morgan, Bloxham, and Fletcher. How much did Borough pay for Fletcher? Was it 7.5? 7.5 mil?
Serious
$5
dosh.
plus, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was some money. Yeah, serious money. Yeah.
But your thoughts on Blackpool, a team that started the season under Bruce in League One, having been fancied to be challenging for the top six and having brought some players in, and they've stunk the place out. But I always quite liked Ian Everett when we were up against him in our time in League, when he would have been Bolton manager then. But really, with where we are now, we're a parachute team in the Championship. There's nothing really to be afraid of there.
No, as you say, it's been not a great season. They're 19th going into yesterday. I think just 2 points off 21st, so not exactly ripping it up. But it's interesting what you say about certain players that crop up. We said that yesterday. Bailey Farrell came up, and I was with a pal, and he said, "Isn't he the keeper that," as Joe quite rightly said, that Macaulay Bonds? That was good. And George Honeyman as well, who we saw play for, really steady player, I thought, for Sunderland. Throughout his time there. I was surprised to see him sort of crop up yesterday, and good to see Lee Evans. Always thought he was okay for us. Really, perhaps lacked a bit of pace, but remember a quality hat trick, I think, against Doncaster way back, 6-0, wasn't it? Something like, might have been one of Cook's first win in that season after all the players came. Might be one of the first wins. Might be wrong, but yes, as you say, good to see certain players pop up there. I quite liked. Fletcher. I quite liked Bloxham, the other forward. He was a bit of a unit. He gave Kipray some uncomfortable moments at times, more so than a few recent games, to be fair.
Josh Bowler on the bench. Joe, I always remember you saying,
Bolton,
right, Ipswich shouldn't sign Cole Stockton because sometimes a player has one real purple patch of a season. I remember Josh Bowler going to, did he go to Forest or was it Olympiacos for like 5 million?
He went to their group, didn't he? Was it from QPR, was it?
No, I think he went direct from Blackpool. Didn't he? Had a great season with Neil Critchley at he was quality, and there he is on the bench in League One. Anyway, but you got me all worried about players now, Joe. They have to have at least a season and a half. One because you were right about Cole Stockton. I don't know if anyone could tell us in the comments where Cole Stockton is.
Salford.
Wow.
Barrow are trying to buy him at the moment from Salford.
Yeah, I think he is Salford.
There you go.
The Barrow bidding war in the January transfer window. Joe, how do we get started in this one?
We started pretty well. I thought we put all over it. It was just sort of chance after chance after chance, really. Not massive ones, but I think we clocked up 30 shots in the game. A number of them were blocked, but I thought we just played pretty well from start to finish this game, really. We did have our usual phase and that sort of lead up to half time where we started conceding a couple of chances here and there, and Palmer had to sort of earn his corn. But yeah, it's generally just a pretty standard performance, really.
Dave, are you able to say anything remotely interesting about a Jaden Philogene goal?
Alexa, I said it last week. Alexa, describe a typical Jaden Philogene. It's just... Yeah, Joe, I'll take you through the goal. Burns had quite a good chance. I think Burns of a couple of years ago would have hit this first time. It's a lovely, probably best bit of football we played first half that got Burns in on a slight angle on the right of the box, and he took a couple of touches and sort of like overran it. And it's a sort of chance where, a couple of seasons ago, to perhaps taken one touch and just flashed it in. But that was good to see anyway. It's good to see him. Great to see him get a start. But no, not really. And the goal, we started to sort of, we always felt was in control-ish of the game. Some good movement. I think the ball ends up with Clark, who sort of carries it across, and we just overload him on that left. Clark carries it across the blocks. It turns it onto, I think it's Johnson. Johnson just lays the first time ball, and this one he doesn't even take a touch. He just opens himself up, and it's just quality goal. Passes it in the corner again from that angle of about 10-12 yards on the angle of the 6-yard box. Just quality finish. Nothing more than, it's just common now, isn't it? Just expect it to go in. Great finish.
I think that's double figures now, Joe, isn't it? I think he's got 9.
Yeah, it's his 10th now. And all at Portman Road, isn't it? I wonder if
all 10. Are all 10?
I wonder if there's a record in English football for
Oh, the biggest disparity.
The most, well, not just the biggest disparity. Most goals scored in the season, without one being away from home.
Away.
Or home.
He's got to score one away from home, Joe.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does soon. Hopefully as well, because in that run of 4 away games in a row,
Maybe one. Does Wembley count?
It doesn't really look. No, he did it. He had a hell of a. Was it against Hull? The strike he had, was that Hull game where he hit the post from an angle left foot? I think it was,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Well, I think we're 2-0.
Yeah, but that's
Dave.
That's a former home stadium of his. So
that doesn't really count. See, okay, see where you're going with that. But yeah, no disrespect. I mean, just other than that, I can't remember him missing him getting in those positions away from home. Often it's probably now in the chat, someone's going to say, well, what about this? What about that? Really getting in that position many times away from home this season to open himself up. And
Dave, you'd think he'd have more space in the away games where they're not going to have teams doubling him up.
Just doesn't seem to happen, does it?
Yeah, there you go. Can we say a massive thank you to, I think he super chatted last time as well.
I think he did.
MPR 26V, $19.99. Very, very kind. Thank you so much. Big shout out there. This show will always be free to air here on Sundays, but if you do want to contribute, it is very, very helpful for removing gremlins from all of our technical setups over the years, for sure. So, Joe, was there any space for Clark in the 10? How did he play in the first half?
He played when he got the ball and carried it. He did that side of the game well. He's not like Nunes, where he just moves around, gets on the ball, and keeps it ticking over. He's more sort of waiting the ball to come to him, and then made some nice runs and kept getting across and beating people. And like I said, the first goal comes from that. It just sort of breaks the game. Effectively, it's a bit static as a low block, and all of a sudden he just manages to work his way past a couple in the middle of the pitch, and then they're just sort of knocked off their spot, and we score from there. But no, I wouldn't say it was a failure. I think it's probably maybe more as a position when we're away from home and having less of the ball and picking the ball up deeper, because the way he can sort of slalom up the pitch is really exciting and sort of breaks the game for you. Where at home, I think Nunes is the one with his passing and getting on the ball and moving it there. But it's definitely what you need in the 10 at home.
I've got to say, just before that, there was one bit of skill from Philogene in the first half. If he had planted this in the top corner, the ball's like pinged to him, about, I don't know, 20 yards out. He takes one touch, flicks it up. Defenders face him. He flicks it back over the defender, chests it up, and volleys it. Comfortably over by a couple of 3 yards. But my God, if that had gone in, that would have brought the house down. Unbelievable bit of skill.
I just want to see the 15 goals at home and 0 away. Joe's got me set for all of that now. Dave, how do we go? How do we go in the second half? Because we have no goals to talk about. I want to get to subs and the impact of the players going out, but more of the same.
Fairly comfortable, really. Blackpool had a really good chance. Greaves, I tell you, yesterday made a couple of brilliant interceptions, but the one he made from, I think it was Fletcher, wasn't it, Joe? I think it was Fletcher. They get in down our left. By this time, they'd sort of sussed out that they could sort of chip the ball over Ashley Young, and the wide player would have him on a straight run. And I'm not sure if this was the case of that, but anyway, the ball ends up with Fletcher. He controls it well, turns inside. And I think I was in that stand yesterday. This is going in. I think Palmer's beaten. And Greaves just comes from nowhere and just 6 yards out, just deflects it away. So yeah, they had their moments. And to be fair, Blackpool,
he did one in the first half of block.
He did. I think it was
not as good as that one, but still a very, very good block.
Really good. I thought they were really neat and tidy, actually. But at times, when they got the ball down and played, they looked quite good, didn't they? Moved it all right. But
yeah, they looked like an Ian Everett side, didn't they? He's got his sort of footprint on that quite quickly.
But we were pretty much all in control. All it needed was a second goal on the subs, and it should have led to a second goal soon after the subs came on. I'm afraid our friend Azon didn't cover himself in glory yesterday, I don't think.
Well, let's talk about the subs then. Joe, just talk to me about the departing Akpom and Burns on 73. How are they both?
Well, Akpom had a good chance, didn't he, at the start of the second half. Jack Clark sort of moved forward with the ball and played a sort of lovely ball around the defender. He went across and struck it first time. Good strike, but Peacock Farrow makes a really good sort of one-handed save. I thought Akpom was fine, but I think the difference between him and sort of Hurst and Azon is that they spend the game sort of chasing around, running the channels, doing that, where Akpom very much wants to be sort of between the white to the goalpost effectively, and he plays the game in that part of the game. So it's one of those ones that if he doesn't have a lot of chances, he doesn't really do much else outside of that. And I think it was a little bit like that. But yeah, nearly scored an excellent goal, and I think he's probably going to get you more goals than probably the other two. But it's just, does he offer enough on the other side of the game? I thought Wes Burns was better than against Oxford, but he's still a little bit rusty, as you'd expect. And I think maybe the Coventry goal was great, and it was a brilliant moment, probably the biggest and best moment of the season so far for Ipswich fans. But I think maybe that's almost sort of like tricked people into thinking he's a lot sort of closer to being back to what he was than he is currently. I think it's going to be a sort of a process still for him to get fully up to speed, but is what it is. It's what you'd expect after coming back from a long injury when you're that sort of player. But he's still, he just is the player that's always in the right positions and knows where he needs to be and keeps it simple when he gets the ball out wide, just sort of takes a touch and puts the cross across. He doesn't spend his time trying to beat a man. And it's like he does just make us function better as a team, but I think he's still a way off where he wants to be.
So the other side of that, Dave, is Azon and Smodix, and we've had all kinds of fun and games with Smodix and the transfer window opening up. Who do you want to tackle first? The return of Smodix and Azon's continual Jonas Axeldal impression.
Yeah. Well, almost, yeah. But he has bagged a couple, so he's not quite Jonas, is he? But again, a great bit of play. Just quickly, and McAteer again. Guy just needs a break, and an assist would do. Roast the fullback, puts a great ball in, and he's just not sharp across the near post. You think, oh, this is in near post, just get a touch. It's in. He's just not sharp enough, and he just doesn't get a good contact on it. Might be, I haven't seen it back, so it might have been a really good bit of defending, but I was at the other end. But yeah, that's a sort of chance he should put away and would give sort of McAteer a bit of confidence. But what was it? What was the other point? Smodix, I think.
Smodix return.
Yeah, I think we were. I think a lot of us were surprised to perhaps see him on the bench. Certainly see him come on. To be fair, obviously, although did I see something that would he be cup tied now? Was that rule changed? Or he would still be cup tied, wouldn't he? Surely.
I can't imagine people. I don't think people care too much about cup these days.
Yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, again, he didn't really feature much, did he, Joe? I think he landed on the ball a few times. I can't really remember anything really happening there. I was surprised. I think perhaps it's a bit of lazy journalism that he's been heavily linked with Derby and returned to work with John Eustace, who obviously had him at Blackburn. So you would think that'd be quite a good move for him. But yeah, nothing. I don't think, other than speculation, nothing's come out concrete yet on that.
Carlton Morris and Smodix up top together. That'd be a great S-house.
He's injured, isn't he? He's injured.
I know.
I don't know if he's back yet.
Just for the housery, those two together would be all over it, wouldn't it? And Joe, we have to wait all the way to minute 87. And if you're going to wait that long, you want a bit more of an aesthetically pleasing goal than this one. But Greaves caps off what you were saying is a good performance with a goal from on the goal line virtually.
Yeah, well, Ashley Young takes a corner and he's got like two people trying to hold him down and the keeper coming across. He's really strong, gets up well and just nods it right into the top corner. It was it's a really good headed goal from a corner and deserved it with his performance.
But it's not all over yet. Penalty up the other end. I suppose it's not really squeaky bum time when it's that late, but annoying not to get the clean sheet, Joe.
Yeah, no, I've sort of made a point on the pod a few weeks ago that Alex Palmer's got a terrible record for clean sheets. He's only kept one in his Ipswich career so far, and it's really and he deserved one.
Villa.
I think we had a 0-0 earlier this season. It kept 1-0, or might be the 1-0 against West Brom. I think it was actually. I think
did we not draw 0-0 against Villa, or was that 1-1?
That was
Delap
1-1. Yeah,
1-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I think the West Brom game, so against his former club, but yeah, and I think he deserved it. And I say it's for all the compliments we've given Greaves so far. I think there's an argument that it's maybe not a penalty. He does get some of the ball, but he goes through the man to get there. And it's not really a tackle you need to be making in the box, is it? Just at all. And
amen.
It was about 10 seconds after he'd been announced as man of the match by the PA. He sort of did that. And Palmer makes a really good effort to save the penalty. Gets a really strong hand to it, but doesn't keep it out. And I say for Greaves, I guess that's how you look at it there, and that's sort of real blot on his copybook. He did similar away at Preston to give away the penalty that cost us the game up there, where you're just defending a little bit too aggressively in the box. I think it was an element of that.
It was a shame because he was excellent yesterday. He was far and away. I thought he was far and away our best player. So it did take a bit of a shine off that because he was really, really good. But you're right.
McKenna was furious about it, though.
Yeah, it was a bit
on. Even after the game, he was.
Yeah,
we don't see him approach the ref very well, and he was up with the ref all after the game. It's very unlike him.
To be fair, the players were. I mean, I know it was they were obviously keen to keep the clean sheet. What was really interesting, that was 96th minute or whatever it was, and all the players surrounded the ref immediately saying, no way. To be fair, I think the ref had been a bit lenient with us on a couple of occasions, not in and around the box, but certain challenges, say 20, 30, maybe 20, 30 yards out where looked like free kicks, but that Blackpool perhaps should have had, but the ref way play on. So perhaps there was a little bit of thought in the ref's mind that he may have got one or two wrong. But soft penalty, let's say.
That's difficult though, Dave. If you're talking about a player who's kind of tall, pacey, good on the ball, that was great. But how do you fix? How do you fix the little concentration things when they're that vital? You
wouldn't call it a reckless challenge. It wasn't.
No,
he thinks he can get the ball. Daft. He thinks he can get the ball, and I think perhaps he did get some of the ball, but it looks
he did get some of the ball. But he goes through the.
But he goes through. He's momentum. So I don't think we should hold much sway on that. He was excellent yesterday, and hopefully he doesn't repeat that in a league game anytime soon. No. Or in a crucial FA Cup 4th round tie.
Or like semi-final or something. And we'd be at Wembley if we get to the
what are we even saying? What are we even giving it thought? My God.
So, Joe, what did we learn from FA Cup 3rd round day? If you want to talk about systems, managers, or individual players, what did you learn?
I guess you always sort of talk about the negatives as well, but I don't.
I love to talk about the negatives.
I don't think Ashley Young's going to be starting many games for us at right back between now and the end of the season because he does look like he looked very much 40 years old when he was getting. CJ Hamilton gave him a hard game yesterday, and
he did.
Without being harsh, there's a lot better wingers in the Championship than CJ Hamilton, and I think that. It's probably it looks maybe a season too far. Maybe because he's not playing every week, he's sort of out that rhythm.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah. Come out that side of it, and maybe his minutes will come. Just help shoring up the midfield, like he's done for us a few times over the recent weeks. So that could be that. I thought Ben Johnson probably showed enough that he can sort of cover both sides, left back, right back. I don't think there's a huge amount wrong with that. Eggerly probably shows he's not quite ready in that 10 role, and Jack Clark. Sort of a bit there, but again, I thought McAteer showed a lot. I thought he was good when he came on, a nice little cameo, and sort of another negative probably as on. Just for me, he's just he had a real stink when he came on. He throws himself about so much that the refs give him nothing because it's almost like almost like the boy who cried wolf, and it's frustrating because he does it in really sort of unneeded times and times where it leads sort of to quick turnovers.
Is he just trying to make up for a lack of kind of physicality?
Yeah, I think he's got the physicality though, but he just throws himself to the ground and you end up losing the ball and it going the other way and sort of putting us under a little bit of trouble. And I know Akpom doesn't chase around as much as him, but I think he's probably a better bet to start games at the moment than Azon is at times. But I'm sure there'll be questions about it later, but I guess it's just trying to find someone to come in and help that role. I think Hirsch should be back next week.
He's close. Yeah, he's close, isn't he? So we understand. Yeah.
Same question to you, Dave. You got anything to add? In terms of learnings or
no, not really. I think Joe's about covered it. Like Joe said, I thought Johnson was steadier. He was steady enough. I don't think. The subs. I mean, it's an odd game for subs. Yeah, Eggley came on and didn't really do much at all. All a bit disappointing, really. I remember him one crossfield ball that didn't quite come off. He didn't really add much to anything. Again, as of all of the subs, McAteer again. Really, because what he has got looks to me like he's got raw pace. So if he can just harness that, and like I said, he needs an assist. He needs a goal. Needs an assist. I'm just going to
pick you up on that. Fans will look at that. The data bods inside the club won't give two hoots about an assist. They've got far more. As long as he's making. I was told by Jay works at Luton, don't you? Joe. He said he's like a proper pro data guy. He said and this was years ago. He said to me, "I don't look at assists, but I know fans do, Dave, and goal contributions. But they'll be happy with him in the club if he's sticking it across and someone's missing it.
I'm sure they are. Yeah, we don't see him in training. He might be absolutely sort of ripping it up most of the time in training. So, as I said in my panel yesterday, I'm sure there's a player there. He just needs something to go for him, and I'm sure that's not too far away.
No, absolutely. I'm sure we're going to get back into conversation in the questions segment about specific players and usage, and most definitely about fixtures and how you would work your way through what's going to be a rather, say, testing month, rather testing running now until the end of the season, frankly. So we will get to all of that. But first, here is a word from our show partners at Atwells.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
Right, huge thank you to Atwells. Loads and loads of stuff on the glorious Blue Monday network this week. We've got Beyond the Scoreline. That's a top tier show. You can sign up in YouTube, actually. Hit the membership thing down there and click join, and you will get access to our paywalled shows. As usual, the normal main 3 bits of content will be free for you here on YouTube and on audio. We'll be talking transfer chat, and you know what we're like. Big deal goes through. Joe and I'll stop what we're doing, whatever the time is, and come and talk about it for 20 minutes in very excited fashion. I think Joe and Craig are going to be doing a State of the Union on the squad during the week. Pre-match will be back on Thursday for Blackburn on Saturday lunchtime, the 17th. We'll have pre-match as well on Top Tier. The preview show on Top Tier, and then we'll be back with the Flagship. And if you understood 50% of that, you've done really, really well. Selected results here in FA Cup round 3. By the way, if you want to get your questions in for Joe and Dave, please do so now. And I mean, we'll go through these results, and I guess the question's just going to be with everybody, and it's so unique for whichever club, and whether the manager needs results or certain player needs this at this point. Everyone does like to retrofit whatever result they get being a good result in a cup, because that's the football fan coping mechanism, isn't it? But we'll go through them anyway. What we do know, Stoke 1, Coventry 0, means Coventry have 20 to play, none of them against us, and they're at 2 points per game, and they will have a singular focus with a minimum of 2 fewer 3-game weeks than we do. And those are all objective facts. You can get cross with me saying it, and we'll see how that transpires. Fulham 3, Borough 1. So that is the top 2, both out, although Borough went pretty strong with their lineup. Preston 0, Wigan 1. Ryan Lowe returns to Deepdale and gets the win. Burnley 5, Millwall 1. Millwall didn't care, did they? Bristol City 5, Watford 1. Watford didn't care, did they? Hull 0, Blackburn 0. We're going outside the top 6 now. Wrexham 3, Forest 3. I've got to say, I know I'm the Nathan Broadhead fangirl. He was all over those first 2 goals. And Amari Hutchinson missed the penalty. Okonkwo saved the penalty there. West Ham 2, QPR 1. Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2. Derby 1, Leeds 3. Cambridge 2, Birmingham 3. Doncaster 2, Saints 3. Dave, talk to me about Coventry then. I think that's absolutely the perfect result. They played all right. They played the 2 new wingers who they've already signed in the window, Esse and Yang, who, by the way, I don't think are the bona fide cheat code guarantees some people are making them out to be, but it's going to help them. And thank you for nodding there, guys, and not throwing me under the bus. But I think that leaves Coventry in a good spot with 20 to go, Dave. Do you agree?
Yeah, it does. Given your description, it does. But it's still another defeat. It's still, if you look into, try and build momentum here, it's another defeat we've already described in recent weeks. Their sort of form running up to this in December throughout.
Here's the stat, Dave. Sorry to interrupt, mate. Failed to win 7 of the last 9, Cov.
So yeah, like I said, so you still got that sort of almost backward momentum step. But as you describe it, if it's if it's effectively 2-3 game weeks less than what we know we've got to play now, yeah, you look at it that way, and it's not a bad it's not really a bad result. But yeah, I think from a momentum point of view, it's not great.
I think as well, Joe, I think their game against Borough is at the CBS as well. So I think they already played them away, didn't they? What's your take, Joe, on Coventry and Borough losing and already having, we already have to play a game more and that extra Pompey fixture?
Yeah, I think the difficulty is you sort of don't want to lose, but you don't want to lose if it's a sort of momentum killer of a result. So when you draw Blackpool at home and you have 27,000 fans turn up for it, you don't want to lose that game. If you're Fulham and also Middlesbrough going away to Fulham, have a nice day out in the capital, a few beers, watch the game, you lose to a team that's better than you. That result doesn't hurt you in any way. If anything, it helps you because you've gone there, you played a tough team, you've seen what you're up against, and it helps on that side. So it is the luck of the draw, so to speak, also affects this stage because, like I say, we haven't seen who we got in the 4th round, but I'd probably rather be in Middlesbrough's position than our position, going away, losing to a Premier League team, or beating a bottom end League One team to give yourself a fixture that can mess you up a little bit from there. So it is there's sort of swings and roundabouts. So, but when the draw was made, we had to beat Blackpool, and we did. So we've done our job, and then you look to see who you get in the next round, and you might get, I don't know, West Ham away and think, oh, you got there, or you might get Macclesfield at home. You think you got to beat them if you get them at home, and so it's really difficult. And I guess we'll know more sort of this time tomorrow night after the draw has been made as to what the next set of fixtures looks like.
I suppose Hull still being in there, Dave, is worth something. I think Wrexham will get completely distracted, but Wrexham are bound to draw someone really big at home, and for that to be on TV, I think that could distract them kind of. We're going to have to go to Wrexham. I'll look it up. The only other one I wanted to pick up on, Dave, is when you talk about the context, Birmingham manager, take the team, need a win, go and win the game. So it's so unique with all of these clubs, with what they need and at that specific point, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a good pal who's a Watford fan, and we were discussing this briefly in conversation we had in midweek, and he said, absolutely don't give a shit about the FA Cup. We've got momentum. Don't care. Go to Bristol. So he wouldn't have liked to. I'm sure he would have preferred a
at least
narrow.
they got to see a game this time.
Well, yeah, but at least I think he would have preferred a narrow 1-0 or a 2-1 defeat, perhaps not a 5-1. And they went fairly strong. I saw players like Luso. I looked at their team, and Luso was playing. So they put a few out, to be fair. And whilst we should mention it, whilst we're on the subject of Bristol City, it was one debut of Mr. Sam Morsey, wasn't it?
Yeah, who wasn't wearing number 99 or whatever it was.
I didn't check that, but I assumed he wasn't.
I assumed 40, isn't he?
Yeah, I assumed he wasn't.
Joe, I just looked it up. Wrexham Ipswich is, of all weekends, on the 21st of February, after both clubs will play in the 4th round.
A week before.
I don't know whether automatically your game will just get bumped. Although Hull are in it as well. So you could almost bump the Ipswich-Hull game straight into that midweek, couldn't you?
Maybe it'll be one of those.
Then what about? Oh no, there's no replays, is there? So it doesn't matter on that side.
Maybe it'll be one of those weird fixtures. We'll draw them in the cup the week before.
Always happens, Dave, doesn't it?
It does happen from time to time. It does happen. It's not unusual. It isn't unusual.
Yeah, look. So it's
the other Welshman said.
Wrexham away there in the comments. That's exactly.
Set it there. Get your money on it now.
Who we're going to get, isn't it? Right. We'll go into questions, but very, very quickly, I believe the professor had an anniversary, Joe. 200 games in charge. I know Dave has done his he did the top the rankings of the managers, but I mean this is a hell of a run, isn't it?
Well, it's 200 games, and I think when Sir Alf Ramsey in his first 200 games won 95, and Kieran McKenna's won 94. For Sir Alf Ramsey, though, he had 2 seasons in the 3rd Division South and then 2 seasons in the 2nd Division. Kieran McKenna's got a season in that where we won 4 games out of 38. So, so you take that Premier League season out of it, it's 162 games and 90 wins or 91 wins out of 160 games. It's an unbelievable record, and yeah, he's been a fantastic manager. I think Saturday was our 100th win in the FA Cup in the club's history as well. So,
do you know David Diamond has been to 93 of those?
That's an absolute fallacy. No, I haven't.
Probably took us a long while to get from 90 to 100, though, didn't it?
That's a good point, Joe.
No. McKenna's been fantastic, continues to be so, and yeah, we're very lucky to have him. And here's to the next 200 games for him.
I never thought he was getting to 200 games when all that contract stuff was going on, Dave. But I know there's a bit of a tough gig, isn't it, this season? Because he's either basically got to get automatically promoted, or it's going to be considered a failure with massive churn and a fan base with hugely elevated expectations, and the wider footballing world. I was literally doing a watch along the other day, and I had to block a guy who literally put F Ipswich Parachute Club. You just get hated now once you've had a little bit, even like one season in the Premier League. But yeah, what's your quick reflections on 200 for Kieran McKenna? Get your questions in, guys.
It's an incredible achievement, as Joe said. Sir Alf was, well, we know where that ended up with Sir Alf, but he played a lot of those games in a much lower league, or most of those in the lower league. Just absolutely incredible. When Joe breaks it down to take the 38 into consideration, the 38 Premier games last year where we won 4. I mean, it's a ridiculous stat. Yeah, been absolutely superb. And congratulations to the club, all those back then who did the due diligence there, because they got that absolutely spot on, didn't they?
They very, very much did. Right, get your questions in for Joe and Dave. We will read as many as we can. Dave, who wants to go to Macclesfield? Have we played Macclesfield before, Dave?
I don't think so. I'm sure Stat would be, if he's listening, would be shouting at me. I'm sure we probably haven't. I couldn't believe that, because they went bust, didn't they? So they're now, what are they? They are now National League North, aren't they? So they're not even in the Premier. I mean, just incredible. And we ought to just mention that result. That probably is, given the context, and Palace were cup holders, that has got to be the greatest ever cup shock. Surely there can't be any bigger than that. Given that, I mean, a big shock if Palace hadn't been the cup holders, but as they were cup holders, that is a massive result. It's only like the 3rd or 4th time a non-league team has beaten a Premier League team or a top flight team. And one of those was when Luton beat Norwich. But when you look at the sort of comparative size of clubs, Luton being in the National League, Norwich being in the Premier League, it doesn't feel like incredible
as big a shock, because Luton have been in the Premier League since then and have spent a lot of their time in sort of the old Division 1 and Division 2. That's sort of, so it just doesn't feel like that. When Macclesfield, sort of a 6th tier club that were sort of a phoenix from the ashes a few years ago, to beat the holders, like Dave says, it was the alerts that came from my phone from BBC News and Sky News were calling it the greatest FA Cup shock of all time. Yeah, it's difficult to argue, isn't it?
Up till then, the most well-known one, and you've obviously seen footage, would have been the Hereford-Newcastle one and the Ronnie Radford goal on the ploughed-up pitch at Hereford, where I think Hereford were I think that's before they entered the league, were non-league then. So that was probably the biggest one and most famous one up till yesterday. But yesterday was, and a good point. Yeah, seismic. That's a good point as well. Forgot that. Sutton beating Coventry as well in '88. Totally forgot that. They were cup holders as well. But I don't think Sutton, I'm pretty sure Sutton wouldn't have been National League then, but it would have been probably Conference. I'm certainly they were probably in the Conference Premier or whatever it was, the main Conference League then. But yeah, the seismic result.
Joe, Alex Ipswich says, Bamford, Wilson, similar age and injury record. Do you think we should be aiming higher, or do you think this is the best we can expect from this window? You have to maybe come back, Alex, and define what aiming higher is in a January window, because I don't know what's out there that you could actually get. But answer the question in the spirit it's written, Joe.
Yeah, it's such a difficult window, especially for a parachute team, because you've got two options. You need to find a player who's better than what you've got, that can come in, hit the ground running, and be there, which I guess is sort of a Patrick Bamford or Callum Wilson. And the reason they were available, I know Bamford signed a new contract with Sheffield United today, so he's no longer available. But I think we were very interested in him. They're sort of at this level because they're injury records, and they probably still will get offers. Or do you want to sign someone potentially for the future, someone from the continent, a young player from there, maybe sort of 8-9 million euros, that sort of range? But who's going to be better between now and the end of the season, Patrick Bamford or young kid from the continent for 8 million euros? That sort of range. Probably a Bamford or a Wilson. They're your surer thing. It's just, can you find somebody who is both got to come in, hit the ground running, be really good, and also be long-term good enough for you in the Premier League? And I think that's someone like Will Asula is someone who's been mentioned a couple of times for us, but he's got interest from sort of like German clubs in the Champions League and bits like that. So you're talking probably a 20-25 million pound transfer, and can a Championship club get that done in January? It's really, really difficult. But that's your sort of unicorn, the one who is both got to be excellent now and is going to be good enough, and you can do it
you can do it in the middle of the season, Joe, because they're not normally these long-term deals that have been scouted for years and popped up on the date of things and have been watched. So they're not available in January normally, are they?
No, and it's really difficult. But then we have done well in January in the previous windows. George Hurst, we signed on loan in the League One window. We signed Kiefer Moore and Ali Al-Hamidi. And I know Al-Hamidi, his career hasn't worked out how he wanted to at Ipswich, but he did well in that run in there. Scored, I think, 4 or 5 goals in the run in, put in some decent performances there. But it's really, really difficult to find someone of that range. You look in the Championship and you look who the top scorers are there, and is there any you can get away from where they're currently at to get here? Doesn't really look like it. I think the one you might have been able to do something with is at McKenna at Norwich. But if he was at any club other than Norwich, you might have had a chance if he was doing well for a side at the bottom end of the table. But we've looked at players, sort of, I'm talking like pod members, people like Will Lancashire, who's done well at Oxford. But it's like, is he going to come in? Is he going to come in and start games for us? Really, is he going to come in and really push George Hurst, or is it just another backup for George Hurst? And is it worth signing someone like that? So it's really, really difficult to, when you're just trying to put names together for someone who's going to come in and give us what we need between now and May, and also have the promise after. So I'd personally be happy if we could find a way of getting Callum Wilson. I think that'd be a fantastic signing, but I think it's going to be really, really difficult.
I think people forget, Dave, we absolutely copper bottom smashed the striker signing last season and had to sell him to Chelsea. So I think people are we were architects of our own downfall by just completely nailing the striker signing last time.
He was just too good, wasn't he? Christ, he'd be good in our side now, wouldn't he? Oh my God! But it was just he caught fire, didn't he? And then it was inevitable. And the clause. We realised there was a clause there, and that was the inevitable happened. Unfortunately, good to see him. Obviously, Rossini's there now. We're not really talking about him, but I think he'll get some pretty decent game time under his senior. But it's as Joe quite rightly said, it's going to be so difficult, and it's unless you could pull really a rabbit out of the hat from abroad that no one's thought of or we've scouted. But who knows? And
I think the two signings when you look at it through Championship squads is, like I said, I just mentioned McKenna there, somewhere where they've signed. A club sign someone for £1 million in the summer can probably get 10 times their money in January. Sometimes they'll just do it. And Josh Sargent, who's now linked with Toronto, a good quality Championship striker who's available for sounds about 12, 13 million quid. But neither of those deals can or will happen. But it's funny that the two that could work in this league are both at the same club who have just learnt their lesson the hard way about selling a player to their rivals in the previous transfer window.
Wilson would be a great signing if we could keep him fit. He's
played 17, 18 games for West Ham this season. I know a lot of those have been from the bench, but he has played a lot there. And I think the problem is because he's played a lot there, he'll probably be looking at lower end Championship, lower end Premier League team that makes interest. Because all it takes is like one Leeds striker, one Nottingham Forest striker to pick up an injury and be out for 2 months. All of a sudden they'd be like, well, we'll get Callum Wilson till the end of the season. And
it's nothing on their balance sheet at all.
No.
Pirro was spoken about. I think we spoke about him last week, didn't we, Joel Pirro? But again,
that seems to have gone a bit quiet with Coventry and Borough as well. That was the
just wait till the end of the window, weren't they? Leeds got
exactly.
There's no desire for Leeds to get rid of him until then.
No.
Why would they? Romeo, would you prefer to go up as champions this year or win the FA Cup but miss out on promotion? You've got to win the FA Cup, Dave, out of those two. I mean, get promoted another season.
Get promoted any old season. God, you've got to win the cup. For all how much the cup has changed, that's the ultimate. And as you quite rightly said earlier, what guarantee 2 games at Wembley, one if you get one a guaranteed win if you get to the cup final. You'd take it all day, wouldn't you?
You would, wouldn't you, Joe?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Winning trophies like that, the memories of that last a lifetime. You look at someone like Burnley, for example, they've had like 4 or 5 promotions to the Premier League in the last 12 years or so, but none of those will compete with an FA Cup win.
Nah.
We had Pompey and Wigan and Palace have all won the cup in, I guess, this century, hasn't it? Dave. Oh, no, not Dave. No. Because this is asked specifically to Joe. Joe.
Go on, Joe.
Do you think Ben Johnson? She's asked Joe because she just wants you to just say Johnson in the background in childish fashion.
I think he will, because I don't know where else he'll go, but I think if we could get rid of him, we would do. I don't think his signings worked out for us. It's a shame. I thought last season in the Premier League, when he played in that sort of right wing role, I thought he did that really well in a few games. Sort of notably like Chelsea away, I thought he was excellent there, scored and set up a goal, and just had a really good game and was good there. I think Tottenham, he played there as well and did really well, but we don't really need someone with that profile for the right wing when we're in the Championship. It might be that we get back to the Premier League and he might get more minutes in that role again there, because it works that way. But yeah, I think if we could move him on, we would do.
Dave, with Coventry getting some deals done quickly and things seeming quiet for us, should we be worried about our recruitment team? What I will say, just to add context, sorry, Dave, about the Coventry signings, there was a hole there. And again, I think they'll both be good, but you've essentially taken a player who was at Pompey for the first half of the season, playing in a team that's, the market has getting relegated. And SA had real massive potential. And obviously anyone who comes through at 17, 18 in the Championship, but I think it's something like 5 goals and an assist or something. It's not Mitrovic going into Fulham in 2017-18
and lighting it up. No, it's not. No, as we've said before, I think a lot of our business will probably be done. As frustrating as it is for all the fans, will be done later in the window. I think we looked at this last week, and I think of all the signings in the last few years, I think perhaps someone like, but he was out of contract, was he? Someone like Luongo came fairly early, I think.
I think he was already training before.
Yeah, Travis and Sarmiento were both quite early in the window.
That's it, Travis and Sarmiento, but I think the lights and certainly the strikers, I think Hurst and certainly Kiefer Moore, Broadhead were all fairly late on. So I think we just need to stay calm and hopefully it will happen.
Can we get Sargent on loan from Toronto? It looks like he is going out. He's texted his manager to tell him he's not playing. That's very 2026, isn't it, Joe?
At least he didn't send him a Snapchat.
Don't you think there'd be some sort of sub clause in the contract saying on no account? I'm joking. On no account can you loan this player?
Yeah. Dave, should FA Cup games be on terrestrial TV rather than a paywall?
Absolutely should be. Yeah.
Third round weekend, there wasn't a single game on TV today.
It's rubbish.
Oh, they're all on TNT and stuff, but not a single game on terrestrial TV on third round weekend.
Ridiculous.
This has got very old man yells at
Claudia. Well, yeah, it is though. Christ almighty. FA Cup, for God's sake. Come on.
Who am I going to? Joe, if we draw a Premier League side, do we go with our first choice team? Or I think you already answered that when you were talking about Borough earlier, didn't you, Joe?
Well, I think it's one of those. If that game is just so we play Saturday. If we go Saturday, and it's a middle Saturday, then you just play the team you need to play. Who needs the minutes? Like Alex Palmer's going to definitely play instead of Christian Walton, no matter who you draw, and you want to split some minutes around. If people need a rest, you give them a rest. But ultimately, you pick your best team that's available while also making compensations to allow for people who need minutes to get in there as well.
I'm just worried that Hull game gets moved back 3 days because we've both qualified, and you go cup midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend. We've got Wrexham, we've got Hull, Wrexham, Watford back to back to back. They're like 7th, 9th, and 5th or 6th or something.
So two of those, Wrexham and Watford away. Hull at home, Wrexham, Watford away.
Yeah, right. Dave, I know the professor explained away Matasiwa, but does it also point to the fact we don't? Good question. That we don't have a backup for him.
It probably, it probably does. He was very good again. Not perhaps it needs to be, but he's very good again yesterday. I mean, I think to whet the appetite, the if it is a matchup, if it does happen, the Matasiwa Morsey matchup in a couple of weeks could be interesting. Like, I guess it's like that Morsey wouldn't start, but yeah, who knows? But no,
they've got Randell and Knight, haven't they?
Knight, of course, they have.
He might well not start. Yeah,
absolutely. So look, I think at this moment in time, no,
he's definitely getting on the pitch, though, Dave. You know that.
Oh no, of course he is. And look, we all saw the one game Matasiwa missed was Charlton at home, and look,
was it?
I think so, wasn't it? But he certainly missed that one, didn't he, Joe? Charlton. It was Nunes and Kayust, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. That's the only one he's missed.
Yeah,
against Nathan Jones.
No, it's just ridiculous. No. At this moment in time, there's no backup for at that level for Matasiwa. No.
Joe, Hull and Leicester are still in the cup, so is winning momentum and minutes not more important right now? Hull did have to do it on penalties, though.
I think it goes back to the point about who you're playing. That's where the momentum is, isn't it? So if you're playing Blackpool at home, you don't want to lose that game in front of a big crowd because that will lose a bit of momentum. But I say it's about the tie rather than the actual outcome.
Dave, will Smodics and Johnson depart in this window?
I would think there's a strong possibility. Yes, certainly. I think Smodics. I think.
What sort of fee could you get for Smodics? Because he's still a guy. I know we kind of devalued the term golden boot with Akpom and Smodics' lack of goals recently.
What do we sign him for? How much did we sign him?
6 or 7 million or something.
No, it's 9. I think.
Was it 9? Crikey. That's Premier League tax.
You'd hope to get half your money back, I would have thought, but you're not going to certainly
get that from Derby in January. You might get it on the back end of the deal, but they're not paying 5 million.
But no, I mean,
Derby spent quite a bit of money this year, haven't they?
All the more reason why they can't do it now, Joe, isn't it?
Well, who knows?
But don't sell him Derby there.
It's a fair solution. Joe, what has happened with Harry Clark? Appreciate he's been injured, but looks like he has no future with us.
Yeah, it does, which is a shame because like a local lad in the team, and he's been really good for us when he sort of through that Championship season and the League One season, but was playing with sort of a badly injured Achilles through the whole season. So you sort of have to give him a little bit of a pass. They're playing in a really tough position on that right side, but yeah, he just doesn't. For whatever reason, he's not really got a future here, and I think he will be leaving. I think Kieran McKenna said after the game that he's close to, or hopefully something's happening with him going somewhere else. Still rumoured to be Sheffield United.
Who'd be likely to take him, Joe?
They say Sheffield United, but they've got Sariki and they've signed that key Jan Hoover from Wolves, who's also a right wing back. So I don't really see where he fits in there. Joe? Sheffield United.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, so they've got a couple of right wing backs there. So I don't know if it is somewhere he'd go, but who knows? Maybe Charlton. I think there was someone just put that in the comments, Charlton as well. But I think they're one who's linked with him there because I think James Breeze loans up and he might go back.
They play back 3 though, and he's more a sort of orthodox fullback.
I think they've got like an 18-year-old playing right centre back for them as well.
Oh, also on that, I guess we should say that obviously news broke over the weekend or late last week. A final goodbye to Connor Chaplin. We understand he's not coming back, and he's played his last game for Ipswich.
Goodbye, Connor. Yeah. How many of them are there left now? Leaf, Davis,
Burns,
Hurst,
Walton.
That's it. Oh, Dave, let's put a bit of a downer on it. I thought it was quite positive. Right, let's round this out now because we're up the hour. Dave, we're coming back. I know the guys will do it on the preview show. We're coming back with a 3-game week back-to-back home games, and we're 3 wins on the bounce here. Blackburn, Bristol City, and then Sheffield United away. Oh, give me some points, Dave. Come on.
I'm going 7.
I'm
going Joe Fairs. I'm almost going Joe Fairs.
I'll shake your hand for 7 on that one. That would be where would that put us? That would put us at 51 points from 28. That'd be good. What are you thinking, Joe, when we're coming back?
Well, both my boys are mascot for the Blackburn game on Saturday,
unbelievable!
They'll have to win that one, so that'll be 3. And I'd say probably win that one, win Bristol City, win Sheffield United, 9 points. See you later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, see you.
There is a lot of thought goes into Joe Fair's prediction. He practices his 3 times tables completely in preparation for that. Joe, great to have you back, matey. Last word from you.
Yeah, just bring on the sort of running. That's what we want to see now. Actually, getting into these games, these 3 game weeks. While there might be time for the players, they are great for the fans, aren't they? So give us some fixtures.
Yeah, fun for content creators, though, aren't they? Dave, last word from you, boss.
Yeah, 4th round draw tomorrow. Norwich at home. Thank you very much.
Are they still in it?
Yeah, big Walsall, didn't they?
Oh,
Big
they did.
Walsall, yeah.
Oh, so that could happen.
Makama hat-trick.
Oh. Eek. Okay. This has been the Blue Monday podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And join us in the week for all our lovely content.